Hi, everybody. Along with Skip Carey, this is Ernie Johnson speaking to you from Shea Stadium in New York, where tonight we open a two-game set against the New York Mets. Right now, the meeting at home plate is taking place. They're exchanging lineup cards and going over the ground rules. It's our first visit to New York. And here with the starting lineups is Skip Carey.
Okay, Ernie, thank you very much. Cred-OP Washington leads it off in right field for Atlanta. Rafael Ramirez will play shortstop and bat second. Left fielder Gerald Perry will hit third, and Dale Murphy will bat cleanup and play center field. First baseman Chris Chambliss bats fifth. Glenn Hubbard will play second and hit sixth. Third baseman Randy Johnson bats seventh. Bruce Benedict will catch and hit eighth. And Rick Mailer will be on the mound, making his first start of the year. He has no record. Rick has a good earned run average, 1.13. For the Mets, who are 15 and 11 for the year, Wally Backman leads it off. He plays second base. Jose Oquendo, their shortstop, will bat second. Keith Hernandez at first base hits third, and left fielder George Foster will bat cleanup. Darryl Strawberry will be the right fielder, batting fifth. Mookie Wilson in center field hits sixth. Hubie Brooks will play third, bat seventh. Catcher Mike Fitzgerald hits eighth, and Ron Darling will pitch. Darling is 2-2, an earned run average of 4. Your umpires behind the plate: Joe West, Doug Harvey at first base, Frank Pulley at second, and Jerry Crawford will call the plays at third. The Braves are 0-2 this year against the Mets. Those two games in Atlanta very early in the season. Elsewhere today, the Dodgers got beat 7-0 by the Chicago Cubs as the Mets take the field, and you see Joe Torre and Joe Pignatano looking on. Dodgers lost 7-0 to the Cubs. Montreal trails Cincinnati 3-0 after an inning tonight. And before we get underway, let's enjoy from Shea Stadium our national anthem. And so, with the playing of our national anthem, we're about ready for a night of baseball. Scott Sanderson was the winner for the Cubbies today, as you look at the Mets defensively. In the American League this afternoon, Baltimore at the end of 7 leads Toronto 7-1. That's the first game of a twilight doubleheader. And Seattle beat Oakland 4-1 was the final score in that game played this afternoon. Well, let's see. It took us an hour and 28 minutes to get from Philadelphia to our hotel in New York after the game last night. It took us an hour and 26 minutes to get from our hotel in New York the 9 miles to Shea Stadium this evening because a cab chose to catch on fire in the middle of the 57th Street Bridge. But other than that, things seem to be moving along rather nicely. Darling takes his warm-up tosses. He's out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and Yale University. He does not have a degree from Yale, but he will have as soon as this season comes to a close. He will go back and complete his education. He's specializing in Southeast Asian and French history, and then plans to go to law school after graduating. Also was a pretty good defensive back at Yale for a couple of years. He came over from the Texas Rangers along with Walt Terrell for Lee Mazzilli, which may be the best trade the New York Mets ever made, taking nothing away from George Foster and some of the others, Keith Hernandez, but they got 2 young pitchers that might be around for 15 years or so for a pretty good ball player who really didn't help the Rangers that much and since has gone on to bigger and not necessarily better things. So Cred-OP Washington, off to a super start, leads it off for Atlanta. It's a clear but cool night in New York. And with the play-by-play story, here once again is Ernie Johnson.
Thank you, Skip. Good evening, everybody. Claudell Washington standing in. Sits safely in 13 of his last 14 games, batting .471 over that span. The first pitch, we're underway from New York. Strike call. The one-strike delivery, a little bit low, says Joe West. They've spruced up Shea Stadium. They got the paintbrush out. They're doing a lot of things here. Bounced foul up by first. And one of the things they've done this spring to this point, played good baseball. Only a half game out of first place going into today's play. With the Cubs win, the Cubs are now a game up on New York. Darling won 10 games at Tidewater last year. He has a good fastball. There's a curve that just missed. 3-2, and the umpires behind home plate don't agree. And the 3-2. Low ball 4. Washington reaches. He was ahead of him and lost him. Now Rafael Ramirez, who sits safely in 13 of his last 14 games. Rafi had a good game last night in Philadelphia, as did many others. Rafi had 3 hits, including an RBI and a squeeze. We haven't seen that much of their catcher, Fitzgerald. Joe Torre may test him right away. Nope. Strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. He's tested this time. It'll be an out at first, and Washington was going on the pitch. He's at second. Raffy tried to hit behind him. Washington was stealing. Hernandez handled a grounder. Here's Gerald Perry. Perry went 1 for 5 in the 2-game set in Atlanta. As Skip mentioned, the Mets won both those games. Murphy's on deck. Washington with a big lead, and Darling steps off. Claudell has 9 stolen bases for the year. Curveball in the dirt. One and oh. And the 1-0. Ball 2-0. Darling wasn't involved in the decision in Atlanta. This is his 7th appearance of the year. All starts. 2-0. Steve Reich. Last time out, the New York right-hander was great, beating the Astros 2-0. Curveball toward Hernandez to his pitcher covering. 2 away with Washington at third. The batter's Dale Murphy in his 361st straight game. He's looking for his first hit against Mets pitching. 0 for 8 so far this year. Fastball is high. This guy brings it up there about 90 miles plus.
Well, your Associate Director of Broadcasting, Wayne Long, here.
Yes, sir.
Wife Sandy's thinking about starting a driver's education business back in Atlanta.
Uh-oh. Curve got away, but not far enough. Another postponement in Pittsburgh. Giants playing there. That's 3 in a row, and the Pirates have been calling some games like, as you take a look at that ball that got away. Pirates been calling some games like at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun comes out, and they've been criticized for it. 2-0. 3-0. They might let Murphy swing. Who knows? Chambliss is on deck. He took it, 3-1. Reds leading Montreal 3-0. They're in the top of the third in Montreal. And a 3-1. 3-2. Missed a fastball. Three balls, 2 strikes on the big guy. Blowing away. Ball 4 to Murphy. First and third. 2 walks here in the top of the first. The Mets have had some problems lately. They've been making roster changes. They've asked waivers on the veteran Craig Schwann after yesterday, doing the same thing to Dick Kidrow. A couple of over 30 pitchers. Chambliss had a big hit last night. He broke open the game in the ninth. Throw to first, Murphy back. Braves beat the Phillies 8-2. They scored 4 in the top of the ninth. That provided a cushion. Atlanta is going for their 5th win in a row. Here's a pitch. Curve is high. They've won 5 of their last 6 and 8 of their last 11. They finally reached the 500 mark with yesterday's win. They're 4-1 on this trip. They've already had a winning road trip. One ball, no strikes. Takes a 2-out hit from Chambliss. Hubbard's on deck as the pitch sails low. They got Milwaukee, Chicago, American League 18 innings. You think that could be right, or is that a typo? Pitch is inside, 3-0. They have a score, Milwaukee 3, Chicago 3. They got an 18 out there in the innings. I don't know if that's correct or not. Unless they started at 9 o'clock this morning. 3 balls and no strikes. Will he swing? I believe he was going to if it was over, but it wasn't. Chambliss was all cocked, ready to go. 3 walks. Hubbard will bat. And we hope that Lynn Hubbard's feeling better. Lynn was on this road trip, and Glenn's concerned. She didn't feel too well, so she left the team in Philadelphia, and we hope that she's feeling fine tonight. Hubbard with the bases loaded. Strike called, 0-1. Hub thought that was borderline. He's batting .353 with runners in scoring position. Here's the 0-1. A little bit high. He's got a good fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hubbard has a couple of homers and 10 RBIs. Curve hit foul. That was a good pitch. 1-2. Ironically, Schwann was the winning pitcher on April 10th when the Mets beat the Braves 4-2. Now the 1-2. Here it is. Curve outside 2-2. Schwann beat McMurtry and Terrell beat Daly in the 2-game set in Atlanta. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's on the way. He struck him out. Hubbard down on strikes, leaving 3. Braves may have the score top the first. New York is coming to bat.
Canon is proud to be the official 35-millimeter camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Jennifer Chandler, it takes precision to perform at this level. Here, the Canon AE-1 program performs, capturing Chandler's high-diving artistry through Canon's high technology.
And it's so simple, you flip for it.
Canon's AE-1 program, so advanced, it's simple. Enter the Canon Photo Contest and win a trip to the 1984 Olympics. Details at dealers.
This Bud's for everyone who keeps things rolling in the mighty Mississippi.
Breakaway bars, please respond.
Let's get him.
Golding, we're right below here and we're on our way out.
I'll come around on the port side bumper there. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
When custody fights between divorced parents turned ugly, CNN told you why and showed you how. Expect the unexpected from a CNN investigative report.
We go to the bottom of the first, and you can see the Braves in the field as Wally Backman waits for Rick Mailer. Oquendo is second, and Keith Hernandez will bat third. Backman is hit safely in 15 of 20. He's not a long ball hitter. Rick Mailer in his first start. And his first pitch, fastball fouled away. Well, the ticker tape says that it's Milwaukee 3, Chicago 3 after 18. Seattle beat Oakland 4-1. That's the final. And Baltimore over Toronto 7-4. I believe that's the first of 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Mailer could really help himself on this pitching staff with a good outing here tonight. They're kind of still searching for a 5th starter. Now the 0-2. 1-2, and Mailer will tell you that he'd rather start than come out of the bullpen.
And another guy that might, might insert himself into that battle is Brian Fisher, who's 3-1 at Richmond with an incredible 1.03 earned run average.
You got to look at Davey Johnson, and there's a foul. Bill Robinson, first base coach.
And Bobby Valentine at third.
Mailer has an assortment of breaking balls and a pretty good fastball along with it. Here's the 1-2. That's the fastball. Raffy's going to have to hurry. Chambliss couldn't hold it. I don't believe Raffy thought Backman was quite that fast. He didn't come up and throw right away. We look at it again.
And when he did throw, he didn't make a very good throw. He had to wait for the ball a little bit, but right there, I think he just realized Chris might have caught the ball. It would have been a bang-bang play if he did. They're going to give him a hit.
They're very generous. Here's Oquendo. Oquendo's their shortstop. Backman has 5 stolen bases. He's been caught twice. He's going. Hit and run. Chambliss retires the batter. Oquendo grounds to first. Well, he did what you're supposed to do. On a hit and run, you're supposed to throw your bat at the ball if necessary, and that's what he did.
He did a great job of hitting, but I'm really glad he did because Backman had such a tremendous jump. If Oquendo takes the pitch, he's at second with nobody out. Now, Oquendo didn't know that. He was concentrating on the ball, but he did a good job, and in a way, he helped Atlanta by so doing.
Mailer's got a fairly good pickoff move to first, but his leg action, picking up the front leg, is not extremely fast. And when they get a jump, that's where they get it. Hernandez. 0-1, strike call. Hernandez has batted .391 over his last 12 games. Foster's on deck. We're just underway. Bottom of the first from New York. The 0-1. Hit foul to left. He was a little late on the fastball. San Diego's at St. Louis tonight. Philadelphia plays at Houston. We gave you the Cubs 7, Dodgers nothing. Sanderson won that game for the Chicago Cubs. So the Braves with a chance to pick up a game here tonight on the Dodgers, who lead the West. Their record 20-12. With today's loss, it moves to 20-13. The 0-2. Little curveball outside. The outfield plays Hernandez straight away because he uses the whole ballpark. Mailer with a 1-2. Slow curve. Boy, he had Hernandez out on his front foot. If it's over, he's dead. But it was low. That's what you try to do. Get those good hitters out on their front foot, and they should be out. Mailer taking a slow walk back. That was his slow curve. 2 balls and 2 strikes. At second base is Backman. He had an infield hit. 2-2. Changeup outside, 3-2. Mailer always throws a lot of pitches. As you look at Joe Torre, Joe Pignatano, and Bob Gibson. And the payoff. Let up. Line to first. Could be a double play. And it is. Backman wandered off second base on the line drive, and Chris just waited till Rappy got back and flipped it to him with a line drive double play. We go to the second with no score from New York.
When you have a dream, unreachable as it may seem, impossible dreams become reality when you strive to become the best you can be. The biggest taste you've ever found, the one that never lets you down.
3 years ago, Lucite painted my house, part of a nationwide test. Lucite house and trim against 5 other leading brands. This brand is already cracking. This one's even worse. And here's Lucite. Still looks great.
Lucite, the house paint with the exclusive formula that resists cracking and peeling much longer, so you don't need to paint as often.
Soon as this test is over with, I'm painting the whole place with Lucite.
Lucite, the paint that lasts and lasts.
If you chew days' work, you ought to try Cannonball Chewing Tobacco. We think Cannonball's sweet, mild flavor puts it a cut above the other plugs. And we think you'll agree if you try it just one time. So if you're 18 or over, send us an empty wrapper of the brand you've been using. We'll send you 2 plugs of Cannonball. Write to Cannonball Offer, Box 11, Memphis, Tennessee. Now that's a sweet offer from Cannonball.
There's umpire Frank Pulley at second base, and he wants to wish his daughter Candace a happy birthday. She's 4, watching tonight down in Florida. Dad thinking about his daughter. This is Randy Johnson taking inside. Boy, when he comes inside with a fastball, it's got something on it. 1-0. Johnson's played well coming off the bench, batting .267, looking for his first home run and his first RBI. Two-all. Strike outside corner. Darling in the first inning walked 3 but got out of it. He struck out Hubbard with the bases loaded and 2 down. 2-1 to right field. Strawberry should catch it. 1 away. Now Bruce Benedict. Skip Carey and Ernie Johnson with you. Shea Stadium, New York. Our next to last game on this road trip. One more, and tomorrow's game is an afternoon game. We want to remind you, then we'll be home tomorrow night. We open a 3-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates on Friday night in Atlanta.
That's a real lengthy homestand, huh?
The weekend. And for the fans in the Richmond area, the Braves will be playing the Richmond Braves on Monday in an exhibition game. As you take a look into the Met dugout, that's Rusty Staub, the redhead.
Booking a table at his restaurant, no doubt.
Fly ball left, should be handled by Foster. That's 2 fly balls here in the second. 2 out. And the batter, Rick Mailer.
Number 42, Braves pitcher, Rick Mailer.
Mailer has no batting average. He does now. Single to left. Pignatano gets a jacket for him. And the batter will be Claudell Washington. They're now in the top of the 19th inning. Milwaukee 3, Chicago 3. They've used a few chuckers in that ball game, I'll bet.
Probably a lot of pitchers, too.
Yeah. Or twirlers.
Probably some port-siders.
Some right-handers.
Yeah, them too.
We could go on and on.
Yeah, but probably shouldn't.
No. Curveball miss. Foul away. We'll keep you posted on that game across town. The Cleveland Indians playing the New York Yankees. Phil Niekro's pitching in that ball game. We saw some of the Indians here today. Jamie Easterly. Brooke Jacoby.
With his new hairdo.
Yes.
Rick Bahena.
Can he catch up to it? Nope. Going to be a bloop single and left. And a broken bat, I believe. Yes. Claudell will take it. A broken bat single to left. First and second for Rafael Ramirez.
One little economic report as you look at the broken bat single again. You know what it costs to park a car overnight at our hotel?
I'm afraid to guess.
$19. That's for overnight, and if there are no in and out privileges, so they go by the hour the rest of the day. About 4 1/4. Wow.
Pitch is a little high to Rafi.
Bottom of the 19th now in Chicago, 3-3.
2 on and 2 out. Well hit. That might score Mailer. They're waving him. Here comes a throw. He's going to be in there with a slide. Well, Kendo had a shot at that ball. Looked like it hit his glove and bounced into left field. And Ramirez gets himself a single and an RBI, and there we take another look at it.
It was a tough play. The ball really came up on him, and you're right, Ernie. He did get his glove on it. He's lucky he wasn't hit in the face. Foster does not throw well at all. His throw is accurate but weak, and that lets Rick get in there. Gerald Perry now goes back to the dugout more than anything else to give Rick Mailer just a minute or two to catch his breath, so that if Perry goes out, Rick will be all right to pitch the bottom half of the inning. It all has happened with 2 out.
An example of how a pitcher can help himself. 2 outs. Mailer, the pitcher, was batting, and he started it with a single. Now there have been 3 straight hits. Good for a run. Here's Gerald Perry. Perry went out, the first baseman to the pitcher, covering first time up. He's been pretty good with men on base. Fouled away on the curve, 0-1. Still 3-0, Cincinnati, Montreal, top of the 3rd.
Because of all the Pirate rainouts there, pitching has changed. Friday in Atlanta, McMurtry against John Candelaria. Saturday, Pascual Perez against Larry McWilliams. And Sunday, Pete Falcone against John Tudor.
3 left-handers for the Pirates.
That's right.
Very seldom see that against the Braves right-handed hitting. But they're all starters on the Pirate staff, and all good ones. Tudor was obtained for the Red Sox.
For Mike Easler.
For Mike Easler. 2 balls and a strike. It's even, 2-2. Now the 2-2. Strikeout. Perry caught looking, but the Braves pick up a run. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. 1-0 Atlanta.
For Sheriff Duval, whose car lacked the pickup to make the pickup, there's Gulf Super Unleaded, the gas with guts. For absent-minded Professor Doyle, who never remembered to check her oil, Gulf's full-service dealers check it for her. For the Millers, whose car ran on and on, Gulf's Extra Octane helps stop engine run-on.
Gulf, everything we do makes driving better for you.
This is the new Apple IIc. This is a computer they call Junior. You might think they're similar, but this one can only run this many programs, while the Apple IIc can run this many. The Apple comes with its disk drive built in, so it's much smaller. Even the price is small. Now, which one would you rather take home? The new Apple IIc.
What medium do you use to summon up financial news? Make nightly contact with Moneyline, weeknights at 7 and 11 Eastern on CNN. The Trial.
I run up to the window, and I seen him with my Mayella.
The hatred and prejudice of a small town.
What kind of man are you?
And the children trying to make sense of it all. Gregory Peck, To Kill a Mockingbird, Saturday on Superstation WTBS.
This is George Foster leading off the 2nd. He has 4 homers this year. Takes outside. That gives him 293 in his career. I thought he'd hit more than that. 2-0. I don't believe that was a fastball.
No, it was an off-speed breaking ball. A crowd. Well, there's a lot of hostility in this part of the country anyway.
Come on. We just got here.
It's a tough track, I tell you.
Strawberries on deck. Mailer behind 3-0. White Sox batting bottom of the 19th. It's 3-3 with Milwaukee. Hitting the cripple. Rappy, nice play in between Hopper, and he throws him out. Ramirez had to make a good play on that ball. Put the glove down and said, I hope it bounces into it, because it was a between Hopper, and here's Strawberry. You play a couple of games in Philadelphia on artificial turf. Now, when you come here, you got to remind yourself, hey, look, this is regular turf. The ball's not going to get out there quite as fast. Strawberry with 5 homers for the year. One of them came against Atlanta, in Atlanta. He's batting .330, 14 RBIs. What a start. Led up. Base hit center. And don't be surprised if he takes off on the first pitch. Here's Mookie Wilson. Strawberry, not only a long ball hitter, but he can run. He has 6 stolen bases. Mookie's batting .444 against the Braves this year. And Brooks, who follows, is batting over .400. Montreal got a couple of runs. They trailed Cincinnati 3-2, top of the 4th. 0-1. Strawberry back. He's 6'6". One ball, one strike. Tomorrow's afternoon game, Len Barker goes against Walt Terrell. Terrell 3-1, Barker 2-2. He's going. And that's going. Base hit left on a perfect hit and run. Murphy up quickly, firing to second. Boy, that's just the way you diagram it. You send a runner, you figure the shortstop's going to come over and cover because it's a left-handed batter, and we look at it again.
Again, it's a breaking ball, and he got it up into the outside part of the plate. Really played right into Wilson's hands, and he just guided the ball through. As Ernie said, Ramirez, you can't blame him. He did his job there at first and third with 1 out, and Brooks the batter.
Here's Hubie Brooks. Tying runs at third and 1 down. Each team with 3 hits, time call. Mike Fitzgerald's on deck. Not a big crowd here at Shea tonight. It's an enthusiastic bunch, however, as usual. 1-0. Ted Turner's out tonight. Bill Bartholomew, chairman of the board, also in attendance. Runner going. Curve outside. He didn't have a chance. Wilson gets his 5th stolen base. Just got a huge jump and then a curveball in the dirt. That combination will foil any attempt to throw you out. Two-0. Coming. Curve. Outside. Not close. Ball 4. The Mets have lost 3 in a row. after getting off to a great start, but they still have a good one-loss record. While Atlanta looking for the double play. The bases are loaded. Strawberry's at third, Wilson second, Brooks is at first. Naylor got the double play in the first inning on a line drive to Chambliss. He'd settle for a grounder here. Time call. He'll work from the stretch. And the first pitch. Oh, that wasn't even close. Well, that'll shake up a pitching coach, and here comes Bob Gibson. You got the bases loaded. In a 1-0 game, and your first pitch hits out in front of the plate. Pitching coach immediately thinks something wrong. Tries to calm him down a little bit. That's about all that's wrong.
Fitzgerald isn't exactly a joke. In AAA ball at Tidewater last year, he hit .284 at 14 homers, drove in 65 runs. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Still, you got to throw strikes, or it's going to get worse.
He has 1 RBI with his .240 batting average. He hasn't played that much. 1-0. Hit foul past first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Naylor will try to get him to hit the curveball, I would think. 1 ball, 1 strike. Darling is on deck. Three on, 1 out. Benedict with the sign, and here's a 1-1. Curve just outside, 2-1.
And I don't mean to be unpleasant, but watch him when he comes set. He's coming within a fraction of a second of balking. He is barely holding at the belt.
He's supposed to pause for a moment. 2-1. Fastball low, 3-1. Fitzgerald can be a little selective. He's ahead in the count. 3 balls and a strike. More than a little selective. Here it is. Fouled it away. He threw him a fastball and he missed it. And by that I mean he didn't hit it solid.
And he threw him a fastball belt high right down Peachtree. Yee.
Now you'd like to see the curve, but and hope that it's a strike. 3-2. Fastball hit to left, but should be caught, and it is. The tag at third. The run will score easily. It's 1-1. Give Fitzgerald a sac fly. RBI.
Another fastball right down the middle. They hit it off the trademark, had no carry to it. Gerald does not have a real good arm at all. That's the nicest way to put it. You see where that ball hit. The game is tied 1-1.
Ron Darling, the batter, with 2 out.
You get out of this tied 1-1, you consider yourself very fortunate.
Curve strike, 0-1. One ball, 1 strike. Wilson's at second, Brooks at first. And the 1-1. 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Toward Hubbard. Whoops. Took a funny bounce. But Hubbard held with it. And Baylor gets out of it. Could have been worse. We go to the third, 1-1.
Canon is proud to be the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Frank Shorter, it takes a special breed to compete at this level. Here, the Canon AE-1 program performs. Shorter leaves the rest behind, but the AE-1 program catches him, computing as it's shooting.
And it practically runs itself, even with the flash.
Canon's AE-1 program, so advanced, it's simple.
Your 35mm camera can capture spectacular images on film, but can the place where you get your film processed capture those images on your prints? Eckerd can, because only Eckerd has UltraLab 35, which examines each shot for color and contrast, prints on high-gloss Kodak paper, sleeves your negatives, and gives you 30% larger prints. So if you own a 35mm camera, you need UltraLab 35, or you might as well use this, UltraLab 35 from Eckerd, when you're serious about 35mm.
Thursday on the Polaroid Playhouse. It could only happen in New York.
What happened to you anyway? You take off for the powder room, and that's the last I see you.
Not really, Harry?
Harry was the other guy. I'm Sid.
Two perfect strangers.
Who are all these people anyhow?
Who knows? The word gets out.
Two perfect lovers. Audrey Hepburn and George Papard star in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Thursday night on Superstation WTBS. Brought to you by Polaroid.
We're going to the third with Dale Murphy leading it off. He'll be followed by Chambliss and Hubbard. It's 1-1. Fastball over. Cleveland failed to score. Top of the first. Yankees are now batting. Pop foul out of play. The Yankees, in an effort to hype attendance and to keep the faith, have an advertisement in the local newspapers of Yogi Berra. The 0-2. Got him. Murphy out of there on strike. That's 2 in a row by young Ron Darling. The ad on Berra, as you see this fastball touch the inside corner, has Yogi saying, "Not over till it's over, folks." That's his pet saying. Said that many, many years ago. He's urging the fans to come on out. There's a bouncer foul. And that the Yankees will be playing better. The competition between the Yankees and the Mets is very intense, as you might surmise. The Yankees are 10-17. They're last in the East, and the Mets are a game out of first in the Eastern Division of the National League. Chambliss bounces it to second. Backman throws him out, and Darling is on his way to a very easy inning. And now the second baseman, but then the Braves scored 1 after 2 outs in the second. Hubbard struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning. They're still out at Chicago, bottom of the 19th. White Sox 3, Milwaukee 3. Boy, this guy's firing, isn't he? Must be quite an athlete. As we used to say in New England, Bula Bula. He played for Yale. Great pitcher and a defensive back in football. That's hit to right center field. Can anybody catch up to it? Yes. Strawberry, look at that. In the webbing of his gloves, Strawberry reached above the head of Wilson. Just did have it in the webbing for a nice catch coming from right field. He can eat up that ground. We're going to the bottom of the third. It's a 1-1 game.
In power blowers, quality starts with the design. You want a brand that's made right, one that lasts. Echo. Years of precision engineering make this Echo gas blower better than any electric. Echo is more powerful and no cords to mess with. Echo makes sweeping a breeze, cuts yard work time way down. Echo, durability, dependability. You know it's going to last. Power equipment for every need. Echo, the one that lasts.
Your nearest Echo dealer is in the yellow pages under chainsaws or lawnmowers.
Up before the sun, got the Honda ATC, gonna have some fun. Going freewheeling, it's my lucky day. Going freewheeling, come on out and play. Take it up, take it down, round and round and round. Going freewheeling, got the Honda ATC, going free.
Get ready for the hard-charging, short-track action of the Nashville 420. It's your chance to see one of the few major night races ever televised. Catch your favorite drivers like Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip. It's the bright lights and country nights of the Nashville 420. Saturday, 8:05 Eastern on Superstation WTBS.
Bottom of the third, and here's Skip.
Okay, Ernie, thank you. In the top of the order for the Mets, Wally Backman leads it off against Rick Mailer in a tie game, and the curve is a little high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Backman, Oquendo, and Hernandez here in the New York third. Right back where it came from, and Backman is 2 out of 2. They played hit and run with Oquendo the first time. They may do so again here. That is one trouble that Mailer and Stu Miller and every breaking ball pitcher who's ever played this game has. When you throw mostly off speed stuff, it helps the other team establish their running game.
Sometimes they start to sit on that breaking ball, too.
Backman edges away. Oquendo waits. Into the dirt. Good play by Benedict. He's been a gopher tonight. He's been in that soil all evening long. 1 ball, no strikes. Cleveland failed to score in the first at New York. They're in the bottom of the 20th in Chicago, tied 3-3. Milwaukee playing there. Braves fan Tom Tift from here in New York at the ballpark tonight. That's Rick Sutcliffe working against Phil Niekro tonight. Benedict couldn't handle it cleanly. A stolen base, the result. So the go-ahead run is in scoring position with nobody out.
See what happens here. I think the ball just got out of his hand. Yes, he lost the grip on it.
I don't think he throws him out anyway. The little New York shortstop waits. He'll be trying to go to the right side here. There's the strike at the knee. Surprised he took that. 2-2 the count. Another big Braves fan, Terry Clack from Lake Placid here tonight, rooting for Atlanta. Strike 3 call. He surprised him with a little smoke, and Oquendo is out of there. Mailer records his first strikeout.
Good fastball, outside corner.
And Keith Hernandez stands in. This telecast authorized under rights granted by the Braves, intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Braves and the Turner Broadcasting System prohibited. The announcers employed by the Turner Broadcast System. Hernandez lined hard into a double play his first time to Chambliss. Missed inside with the fastball. He's thrown more fastballs in this inning than he threw in the first two.
They might have had a meeting in that dugout.
There's his curveball. 1-1 the count. Seattle won again today. Time called as Mailer comes set. They're 16-16. This is by far the best they've ever played since joining the American League.
They haven't excited the fans yet, though. They're not turning out that well in Seattle. I thought that was going to be one of the great franchises, the only team in the Northwest.
Downstairs. Boy, everybody did. With Portland only 100 miles away, a major population center. That's great country out there. But when you don't win and when you play indoors, playing indoors there is a little different than, say, Houston or New Orleans. That's through into left field. Base hit. He will test the arm of Gerald Perry, and he will make it. He missed the cutoff man, and Hernandez winds up at second base, and it's 2-1 New York. It'll be a single, an RBI, and error on Perry to get the runner to second.
Hernandez with a neat job of hitting. The pitch was going away, single to left, and Gerald Perry throws a little late. He does not have a strong arm. We've mentioned that before.
Gerald doesn't look very good in left field. But remember, that's really not his fault. He's a first baseman, and he's in his first year in the major leagues, and he's trying to learn a new position at the same time. That's a little tough. Here's George Foster. Foster bounced to Ramirez on a 3-0 pitch his first time. That's 5 hits already for New York. Curveball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Rick just keeps missing with that breaking ball. Rick Camp back to work in the Atlanta bullpen. He chased a terrible pitch, and the count evens 1-1. There's Rick. Hung the curve high and inside. 2-1. Hernandez the lead. Mailer steps off the mound as Foster, as he so often does, steps out of the batter's box. He's a very finicky hitter. It doesn't get any easier. Darryl Strawberry waits to hit next. Well, George obviously has no pressing engagement after the game. Off-speed curve is a beauty. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Len Barker and Walt Terrell tomorrow. We'll have it for you on TBS at 1:35. Randy, good play on the short hop. Throws across and gets Foster. That's the second out of the inning. Here's Strawberry. He singled up the middle his first time.
Right fielder, Darryl Strawberry.
Two-1 New York is our score. 2-5-0 for the Mets. 1-3-1 for the Braves. The off-speed curveball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. He's throwing more of that off-speed curveball tonight than I can ever recall.
Got away from it just for a moment there with fastball.
There's a fastball, a one-hopper to Chambliss, sharply hit, and the inning is over, but the Mets take the lead. They get a run on 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. The run is earned, however. And at the end of 3 innings, your score, New York 2, Atlanta 1.
MasterCard? I'm starved.
MasterCard International. So worldly, so welcome. So worldly, so welcome.
Now you're cooking.
MasterCard International.
Make the world your oyster.
All you gotta do is smell the coffee, splash on Old Spice. Now you're moving, isn't it nice? Standing tall now, you're doing it right. Pour out a handful, splash on some spice.
Nobody sends more guys out there than America's favorite, unmistakably masculine Old Spice.
Now you're moving, don't think twice. Splash on the feeling, splash on some spice.
It took a lot to win broadcasting's most coveted awards. It took hundreds of news specialists around the world who bring you in-depth news and information around the clock. It took a commitment to live news coverage that offers you more live news than the 3 major networks combined. It took the guts to cover news differently, to let you make up your own mind about what you see. Cable News Network, honored for excellence.
Randy Johnson leads off the top of the 4th for Atlanta. Braves down by a run, 2-1 our score. Randy out of the Mets organization, so he delights in doing well against this team. He flied to right his first time. Braves got Johnson from the Mets in a minor league deal involving Bill Hastering on July 1st, 1980. Good to see the folks from Florence out here. Hope they're rooting for the Braves. Three balls, no strikes to count. The Yankees got 4 for Knucksie in the bottom of the 1st. And he leads the Indians 4-0 after 1. Cleveland batting in the 2nd. Nowhere near. Darling walks Johnson, his 4th pass of the game, and Bruce Benedict, the batter, he flied to left on his first plate appearance. And we want to thank Nelson Doubleday, Frank Cashin for their hospitality. A very nice dinner before the game for the media. A little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. That's 5 in a row that missed. Well, Milwaukee now has a 6-3 lead over Chicago. I think that's in the 21st inning. The board shows 19, but I know they were in the 20th when I checked about 20 minutes ago. Runner going, hot shot right to the shortstop. He's out there and out there. If Bruce could have pulled it, we'd have runners at 1st and 3rd before he hit it sharply, but instead, with the hit and run on, Oquendo ran right into the play and got the double play.
And he got a Met bounce on it. It hit the mound, went right to the shortstop, who played it very well.
So Mailer bats with 2 out, nobody aboard. That was the scenario back in the 2nd. He singled, and Atlanta got a run out of him. 0-1 the count. Baltimore won the first game of a doubleheader 7-4 from Toronto, and the Blue Jays failed to score. I'll be darned. Rick is 2 out of 2. Blue Jays failed to score in the first inning of the nightcap. Here's Claudel. He has walked and singled. He's a former Met. Rick Mailer, in his first 2 at-bats of the year, has stroked singles both times.
His brother Mickey's now in the Cardinal organization. He's on the Louisville roster. AAA baseball. Here's Washington.
The Mets signed Mickey last winter, and he went to training camp with them. I don't know if he was released or whether there was another minor league deal, but it wound up in a much better situation for him because the Mets have much better pitching than do the Cardinals. Breaking ball just missed outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
What is their slogan here? Watch the rising stars or something of that nature? They've got it on their stadium. And they've got a few stars. Kids.
It used to be something about the Magic, right? The Magic is back?
That was last year.
Oh.
So the Magic left, and I think it's Watch the Rising Stars.
It's not how much excitement can you stand? No. Because that one's already taken. A ball and a strike to count. Sharply hit, but right at Backman, and the inning is over. 1 hit, no runs. No errors, a runner left. Bottom half of the 4th rolls round, and the Mets lead the Braves 2-1.
Thinking about throwing in the towel? No, think about making it Michelob Light for the winners.
Your serve.
Would good friends really play this hard for a beer? Well, it is Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Michelob Light for the winners.
Boy, I need help with my serve.
Tom will help you.
First, you remove the cap.
Michelob Light.
You're looking at the new owners of Eastern Airlines. 37,000 employees of Eastern are now stockholders, each with a personal investment in how Eastern performs.
So we'll be working even harder
Moving even faster.
Going even farther.
to serve you even better.
Earning our wings every day. That's not just a slogan, it's a commitment from the owners.
At Eastern, we earn our wings every day.
When you want scores, you can find them just about anywhere. But when you want more than just scores and highlights,
CNN Sports was on the scene.
CNN Sports now takes
CNN Sports has learned of NFL.
turn to CNN Sports for live updates throughout the week. Programs that put you in touch by phone. And sports reports from experts who bring the story home. When you want more than just the score, turn to CNN Sports, where highlights are only the beginning.
It's the movie that gave you Moon River. Mickey Rooney is the Japanese, and Audrey Hepburn is Holly Golightly. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Watch for it. 8:05 tomorrow night on Superstation WTBS. Moon River.
Mookie Wilson hits a fly ball, and Gerald Perry's in a little trouble, but he makes the catch for the first out. Wilson put a charge in it, 1 away.
This ball is well hit. It was a little away from him, and Perry had a little problem with it, but now he backtracks and makes the catch on the warning track. 1 down.
Mickey Rooney plays a Japanese?
Wow. That's all. That's all.
I guess he just had a yen
I just
for
read
that part.
I just read him.
Here's Hubie Brooks. Low and away, 1 ball, no strike.
Some other countries joining the boycott now. I think Bulgaria joined the boycott.
Yeah, they were a real threat to win it all.
There are going to be several to follow suit, but I believe a lot of people are thinking that maybe there'll be a change of heart. I think
you read
they
what
can change their mind. They can change their decision. They have it until June 2nd, I believe.
Sort of like the trading deadline.
Yes.
Did you hear what Irv Brodsky from ABC said today? And New York Post had a very interesting story. He said, number one, ABC has insurance against the Soviets not participating. Number two, they've put up millions of dollars in upfront money to reserve television time. Brooks walks. So he thinks they'll be back. And they also today, the Soviets sent a team to France for the basketball Olympic, like preliminary eliminations. There are 16 countries involved, so bottom line is nobody knows what's going to happen.
They could change their mind.
And Mike Fitzgerald, the batter, he drove in a run with a sacrifice fly his first time. Lisa Dolan wants to be remembered to her folks looking in Waynesboro, Georgia tonight. She's here rooting for the Braves. He was out in front on the fastball and hit it foul down the third base side. Runner going. Benedict's throw. They got a chance. Bad throw. He's safe. He would have had him with a good throw.
Brooks with his second stolen base. This throw is up the first base line. So they got a runner in scoring position and a 2-1 lead.
He had a good pitch to handle, just simply did not execute. They would have had him easily, as you see, had the throw been there. A ball and a strike to count. Off-speed curve, drilled down the left field line. Perry on the run. He gets there. 2 down, and Ron Darling will be the batter. He bounced to Hubbard his first time.
That's a nice play by Perry. He had to go a long way for it. Got out number 2.
Tell you what, I really admire that young man for doing as well as he does in the outfield with as little experience as he's had. It's tough enough to play this game in the big leagues at your own position, much less learning another one as you go. Outside to Darling, 1 ball, no strikes. Hubbard can't get it. Here comes Brooks. Murphy's throw to the plate is a good one. He's going to be out at the plate. What a throw and what a tag by Benedict. And we're going to have an argument. Bobby Valentine, Dave Johnson, and Hubie Brooks will all argue. Brooks flips the batting helmet high in the air. What a throw by Murph and a great tag by Benedict.
Let's take a look. I think Benedict had the plate blocked. That's what Joe West is saying. The plate was blocked. We'll take another look. Look where his foot is.
Boy.
Mets won't believe it. It was that close. Look at Davy Johnson.
We go to the 5th. It's 2-1 New York.
This bud's for everyone who takes the power and sends it down the line.
This bud's for you. For all you do. The king of beer just come as true.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do. Bud's for you.
Fans, if you love baseball, you need to know all the facts. So catch all the action with the American League Red Book and the National League Green Book. Sports writers, broadcasters, and other professionals rely on these official media guides for team and individual statistics, complete rosters, schedules, league information, highlights, and a lot more. Become a baseball expert by having the American League Red Book and the National League Green Book for only $7.95 each, or $15 for the set. Just $7.95 single and $15 for both books, plus postage and handling. For Visa or MasterCard, call 1-800-257-1234. In New Jersey, call 800-232-6966. Or send check or money order to Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia, 30357. Order today.
Well, we've seen a new one here. None of the Mets has been thrown out, but a cameraman, a TV cameraman by the Mets dugout, has been thrown out of his camera position, and I don't know why. Here's the play again. You judge for yourself. Did he get the foot in? Benedict did a good job. You can argue either way. If it goes the other way, the Braves would have argued. Now, I don't know, Ernie brought up a good point during the break, whether they showed a replay on the message board, which umpires are very sensitive about because they fear it will incite the fans to do bodily harm. And that in this. Now, who have we over there now?
That looks like Mike Torres.
Yeah, Mike Torres over there. At any rate, he's still out. And Ramirez leads off the fifth for Atlanta. That looked like it. He eluded Fitzgerald and got Joe West in the mask, and the crowd loves that. It was not intentional. It was an off-speed pitch, though that has been known to happen in baseball. He chased a terrible pitch, a fastball up and in. It's even now, a ball and a strike. It will be Ramirez, Perry, and Murphy in the Atlanta fifth. That's a strike over the outside edge. A ball and 2 strikes to count. If we can find out what all that byplay was about with the camera, we will let you know. Two and 2 the count. And the 2-2 pitch. Pop foul back and out of play. The cameraman, we understand, was looking at the replay and then turned his viewfinder, whatever that is, around so that they could see it in the Mets dugout. That must be the thing the cameraman looks through. So there, 3 balls, 2 strikes. I guess you can't do that.
When he went over first, there were 2 cameramen in there, and he asked one to leave. Then I obviously asked both of them to leave.
Look out, Ernie. It's in our radio booth and back up.
I hope they're all right. I'll check.
Probably a couple cameramen in there. The payoff pitch. Lined into center field like a shot, base hit. So Rafi has his second hit, and he's aboard with nobody out. Gerald Perry, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Well, now there are 2 cameramen gone and about a, what, $30,000 camera sitting down there all by itself? More than that? $100,000 camera. Boy, I wouldn't leave that little darling laying around in this town. Here's Gerald. Are they all right, Ernie?
They're okay. There's a couple of red faces over there, though. The ball got out.
Didn't mess up Pete's hair, did it?
No.
Two 6-0 for the Mets. 1-5-1 for the Bravos. Well, there's a new rule for all of us. You can't swivel your viewfinder in Major League Baseball anymore. A little chop toward third. Brooks in. He's got only 1 play. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. for Dale Murphy, who was walked and struck out. Perry is suddenly struggling with the bat. 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 5 last night. 0 for 4 the night before that. That's 12. He's 0 for his last 15. Darling bluffs Ramirez back. One ball, no strikes. Low and away, 2-0 the count. How in the world could Texas give up 2 young pitchers like this guy and Walt Terrell? Nothing against Lee Mazzilli, but
at the time they were minor leaguers. They've developed.
He popped the curveball up. Hernandez has room. 2 out. Well, let's see how the Mets play it here. I imagine they will pitch to Chambliss, though they have first base open.
At the plate, first baseman Chris Chambliss.
Looks like Nuxie's going to have a waltz tonight. The Yankees picked him up 3 more. It's 7-1, bottom of the second, New York over Cleveland.
I'm glad he's winning, but I'm sorry he's pitching tonight, because if it wasn't his turn, I just had a feeling we'd walk into the clubhouse tonight and he'd have people's shoes nailed to the floor.
Yeah.
Uniforms on fire. Well, our congratulations to Alan Friedman and Doug Zimmer, who, to our knowledge, are the first cameramen ever ejected from a Major League Baseball game. One ball, no strikes. A ball and a strike to count. Two and one the count. In the bottom of what we think is the 21st, the White Sox scored 3 and tied Milwaukee 6-6. Good grief. Very weak swing by Chris. He tried to stop, could not. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Ramirez at second, 2 down. Swung late, hit it foul to left. Count stays 2-2. Chased the high fastball. Count stays the same. Chambliss has walked and bounced to second. Braves seek their first victory of the year against the Mets, who swept a 2-game set in Atlanta. Fouled away to the left again. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals bat on the bottom of the second, tied with the Padres. They are scoreless. Still 2-2.
He's giving him fastball after fastball, and you just wonder how many more he'll try. He could bend one any time.
There it is, and he struck him out. I think he used to play this game. Strikeout number 4 for Darling. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We're at the halfway point in the ball game now with your score. New York 2, Atlanta 1.
Toyota is turning the truck world upside down, including the competition's V6s. Introducing the new generation Toyota SR5 with a first-of-its-kind electronic fuel injection system that powers this Toyota from 0 to 30, 50, 55, faster than any competitor's V6. A lot of trucks will be eating this Toyota's dust in 1984.
In today's hurry-up world, it isn't easy to keep a good driving record. But for those of us who do, Allstate has some good news. Allstate's Shape Up and Save rates and discounts. If you keep your driving record in shape, Allstate could save you money on your car insurance. So drive safely and keep your record shaped up. Allstate will help you keep the cost of your insurance down.
Shape up and save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
First place and the blue ribbon to number 9, Thunder.
We did it! We did it!
The red man reaction. Satisfaction.
It is 2-1 in favor of the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Wally Backman in the top of the Braves auto leadoff. And we bid you good evening from New York. John Sterling, Pete Van Weeren as Rick Mailer delivers outside ball 1. If it's nutty, it has a chance to happen in this city. We saw a cameraman or two kicked out of the game by Joe West after Murphy's throw edged Hubie Brooks. Now the delivery to Backman, and it's grounded back to the mound. Mailer stabs it and 1 away. And on the radio side, we had a line drive come back and knock my mic down as I was talking. If you're wondering why it didn't hit me in the mush, I got out of the way quickly.
We don't have a replay on that, unfortunately.
Thank goodness. 2-1 Mets. And here is the young shortstop, Jose Oquendo. Mailer been in and out of trouble all game. Well, that's kind of the way he pitches. He usually pitches from behind, and he's behind 1-0 here to Jose. That's grounded on a hop to Randy Johnson, and quickly 2 away. Keith Hernandez has hit the ball hard twice. First time up, he lined into a double play, and the next time, he very skillfully hit the ball to left field for a base hit, and that provided the go-ahead run. Wally Backman had singled and stolen second. Boy, a great throw by Dale Murphy last inning. Kept this game down to 1 run. Hernandez hits the ball to deep center. Murphy has it tracked. And a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Mailer. Nothing across for the Mets at the end of 5. The Mets 2 and the Braves 1.
Olympic Champions is brought to you by the Norelco Rototrack, the razors that challenge the world. New from Norelco.
Mohamed Gamoudi of Tunisia collects 3 hard-won medals in 3 Olympics. But in the thin air of Mexico City, he runs the race of his life. It is the torturous 5,000 meters. He is sure that his intense training in the rugged Pyrenees Mountains of France will gain him the gold. But Kip Keino, the peerless runner from the high country of Kenya, is also certain of victory. Down the backstretch, Keino begins his irresistible surge. But Gamoudi inches ahead and climbs the ultimate peak, Olympic victory. Mohamed Gamoudi, Olympic champion.
Olympic Champions is brought to you by the Norelco Rototrack, the razors that challenge the world. New from Norelco.
Here comes the most advanced piece of machinery in shaving history. The new Norelco Rototrack, the razor that challenges the world. Every blade, every electric, every shaving instrument ever made. In closeness, comfort, speed, and quality. It's the shaving machine you've been waiting for, or your money back. Advanced technology Rototrack razors. The first to challenge the world. New from Norelco.
Along with Pete Van Weer and John Sterling at Shea Stadium in New York, it'll be Glenn Hubbard, Randy Johnson, Bruce Benedict, 6, 7, and 8 in the Braves order as we get down the final 4 innings of this game, and the Braves are down 2-1. The Braves have not had too many good swings at Ron Darling. He's had a good live fastball. There's the curveball. It's inside. Darling has struck out 4, and he's also walked 4, but 3 of them were in the first inning. Since then, his control has improved markedly. Another curve, and that's in there. Before we do anything else, I want to wish good luck to Randy Bortles, who is the head coach of McIntosh High School varsity soccer team down in Peachtree City. His club goes to the high school finals. I think their first game is tomorrow. We wish him good luck. 2-1 now on Hubby. Okendo has a great arm. And there it is, 1 away. You know, you hear many people, both fans and members of the media, and sometimes even people who are with ball clubs in all sports, talk about the value of replays to decide controversial plays. We had an opportunity in this game to look at that as Randy Johnson takes outside ball 1. And Pete and I were on the radio side. We saw a replay 3 or 4 times of Murphy cutting down Brooks, and we couldn't decide whether Brooks' foot got in there at all.
Just couldn't tell.
Imagine if you went to that replay of a pivotal play, you could watch that thing for a half an hour and decide, did his foot or did his foot not get in? Did Bruce Benedict block the plate? Randy to deep left center field. Mookie Wilson's right there, 2-way. They go, by the way, to the 22nd inning in Chicago. Milwaukee and the White Sox are tied at 6. Milwaukee scored 2 in the 9th last night to take a 3-1 lead. The White Sox scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. No one scored again through 17. They suspended the game, began in the 18th tonight. Here's Bruce Benedict, and he bounces it to short. Okendo, and a 1-2-3 inning. Nothing across for the Braves at the end of 5 1/2. New York 2 and the Braves 1.
Double play. Anyone who loves baseball loves a beautifully turned twin killing. Hi, this is Bob Costas for the Sporting News, and we've got a twin killing for you. 2 issues for the price of 1. To introduce you to the Sporting News, the Sports Bible. That's right, you'll get 26 issues for just $9.99. That's 2 for the price of 1. And you can't get the Sporting News for a lower price anywhere. You know, none of us who cover sports for a living would be without a single issue of the Sporting News. It's an absolutely indispensable source of information and insight. That's why the Sporting News has been a favorite of fans and players since 1886. It's the magazine that gives you no-nonsense details on all Major League sports and college action. The behind-the-scenes accounts, the ins and outs of the Big 4 action sports. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey every single week of the year. Why don't you subscribe today? And here's a friend to tell you how.
That's right, Bob. You get the Sporting News at the low rate of 31 cents an issue. 26 issues for $9.99. That's half the regular subscription price. To subscribe to the Sporting News, just call toll-free. 1-800-257-1234. In New Jersey, call 1-800-232-6966. Or write to the Sporting News, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia, 30357. Or again, just call 1-800-257-1234. In New Jersey, call 1-800-232-6966.
Well, the Mets have their power up here in the bottom of the sixth, leading 2-1. George Foster, Darryl Strawberry, and Mookie Wilson. Well, they suspended that game at the end of 17 last night, picked it up in the 18th. They went 3 more innings without scoring, 11 straight scoreless innings by Milwaukee and Chicago, as Foster fouls the first pitch off. Then the top of the 21st, Ben Ogilvy hit a 3-run home run from Milwaukee to give the Brewers a 6-3 lead. And what do you think the White Sox did? That's right, they scored 3 in the bottom of the 21st. And they're in the 22nd inning now, all tied at 6. Good slow curveball by Mailer, 0-2. I don't know who's running. That's the camera position where they had a couple of cameramen kicked out. Mike Torres was running it before, in between innings. Pitch is up high. Phil Nuxie, Necro, is on the way to his 5th win tonight. He leads 7-1 in the bottom of the 3rd at Yankee Stadium. It'll be a 1-2 to Foster. Lays off the fastball, 2-2. This probably will be Mailer's last inning. He is due to lead off for the Braves in the 7th. Although Mailer is 2 for 2, but he'll probably go for a pinch hitter. 2-1 Mets. That slow curve is bounced to third. Good arm by Randy Johnson, 1 away.
This is not as easy as a play as it looks. Ball is hit very slowly. Randy Johnson playing a very deep third base. Had a long way to come for it. Right near the bag, he had to be careful not to trip over that bag. Concentrate on fielding the ball and quickly getting the throw over to first.
Boy, it helps when you have a good arm like that. 1 away. Here's Darryl Strawberry. He tries to bunt, and if it stays fair, he's got a hit. They'll let it roll, and it doesn't get off the grass. Oh, Strawberry beats out a bunt, and he will steal a base.
Perfect bunt here. And from a guy you really don't expect it from. He gets it right down that third base line, about 2 or 3 feet inside the edge of the grass. The grass quite high in the infield here at Shea, so it slows it down and keeps it from kicking foul.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of managers who, depending on the situation, Pete, would like Strawberry to bunt. Well, he doesn't gun for the fence. Here's Mookie Wilson. They pitch out thinking Strawberry would run or that the Mets might have something on. There's the number 1. Oh, excuse me, that wasn't Orozco. That was Tom Gorman warming up. That's the player the Mets just brought up as they had released Craig Swan to make room for Gorman. And Gorman probably just getting his throwing in. There goes Strawberry. And there's a perfect hit and run single by Mookie Wilson. Strawberry goes to third. Claudel fumbled the ball, and the run will score. Claudel had trouble picking it up, and when he dropped it, Strawberry kept right on running. And the Mets lead it 3-1. A single and an error, and Wilson goes to second on the error by Claudel.
Give some credit to third base coach Bobby Valentine here. He was watching very carefully as Claudel came over to pick up that ball. Then when he dropped it, he immediately waved him. Sometimes if you don't spot that immediately, you see it a little bit too late to send that runner. But Valentine picked it up right away. Was able to get Darryl Strawberry in without a throw, and down to second goes Mookie Wilson.
They'll put Hubie Brooks on and go after Fitzgerald with 1 out. Well, it's a 3-1 ball game in favor of the Mets, and the Braves now need a much bigger rally, obviously. When you're more than 1 run down, it really kind of changes the way you play the game. 1 run, you might kind of move a runner around. 2 runs down, you've got to go after it. Now Joe Torre comes out of the dugout. And if Joe goes to his bullpen, he might double switch. In fact, that's what he's going to do. Jerry Royster comes out. And so the Braves will make 2 changes so they don't use up a pitcher. Royster goes to third base. Randy Johnson will leave. And there's Jeff Dedman, and Dedman will be coming in. I don't think Dedman's been throwing too long. But apparently he got ready in a hurry. So Rick Mailer leaves. Rick Dedman comes in. Dedman will hit in the 7th spot in the order, and Jerry Royster will lead off the top of the 7th for the Braves. And we'll see what Dedman will do against Mike Fitzgerald when we return right after this.
Rain dancing on your car's finish means the wax protection isn't finished. And who keeps the rain dancing? Rain Dance. Guaranteed to last longer than the leading car wax. Rain Dance keeps the water beating long after the competition falls flat. And longer lasting means less waxing. So wax with Rain Dance, and you won't have to wax so often.
This buzz for everyone who's getting the 1984 Olympic Games ready for the world. To everyone who's working hard for America's Olympic efforts, this buzz for you.
It's new and exciting. It's the 1984 Braves Clubhouse Collection catalog. The Clubhouse Collection is offering official uniforms, jackets, and hats just like the players wear. Also available are novelties that will interest the entire family. Order your copy of the catalog today by sending only $1 along with your name and address to Braves Catalog, P.O. Box 4064, Atlanta, Georgia 30302. You'll receive a coupon worth $1 toward your first order.
Jeff Dedman is warming up for the Braves, and he will face the young catcher Mike Fitzgerald with 1st and 2nd and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Mets have scored 1. They lead 3-1. Rick Mailer goes 5 and a third innings, gives up 8 hits, currently 3 runs, responsible for the 2 left on base, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Dedman forms a very important role for the Braves. Coming here and hold the Mets right here. Braves already 2 runs down. And one of the things about the Mets, as you look at Rick Mailer, not very happy with his performance tonight. Really wasn't a bad performance. He just had some problems and picked a night when the Braves weren't scoring any runs. Now, one thing about the Mets, they have a great lefty-righty combination in their bullpen, Jesse Orozco and Doug Sisk. At halftime tonight up in Boston Garden, the 5th game of that series, the Celtics lead the Knicks 66-45.
And in Chicago, they go to the top of the 23rd. Milwaukee and the Chicago White Sox still tied 6-6.
And as they say, another game to follow. Here's Fitzgerald, who has hit the ball hard twice. Sacrifice fly to left, then a deeper drive that was caught near the line by Gerald Perry. He caught for Davy Johnson last year at Tidewater. Hits this one to center field. Murphy will make the catch 2-away. Dedman has been strictly a relief pitcher this year. He's 1-0 and has a good earned run average of 1.52 in 12 games. The noise you hear, they're going to lift Ron Darling and bring up the premier pinch hitter of the Mets, Rusty Staub. So Rusty Staub, who is a terrific pinch hitter. As the Mets are trying to get runs. It's a gamble by Davy Johnson, but apparently he thinks Darling has thrown enough tonight. And here comes Staub. Rusty on the year is hitting .417. He has 5 hits and 12 at-bats with no homers and 3 RBIs. Makes contact and hits line drives. 2 away, Dedman to stop. Here's the knuckle curve, which goes down low, ball 1. Staub is one of those guys who probably will be able to hit line drives when he's 50 years old. That's on the outside corner, 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. First and second, 2 outs for the Mets here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead it 3-1. Mookie Wilson with great speed at second base, and Hubie Brooks at first. Rusty has those pants hiked up, doesn't he? That's line to left field, but Perry, right in his tracks, will end the inning. So Dedman comes on to close out the inning. The Mets get a run. And at the end of 6 innings complete, the score of the New York Mets 3 and the Atlanta Braves 1.
This Bud's for everyone who scrapes it, sprays it, and lays it on smooth.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do. This Bud's for you.
Storm sure tore a hole in the roof. Lose us a week fixing it. Maybe not.
Get the stuff off the truck there.
Morning.
Thought we'd give up farming, take up roofing for a change.
Don't let us stop ya.
Bring those 2x6s over here. Give me a bundle of shingles. More nails. Almost there. That ought to do it.
Can't thank you boys enough for putting us back into business.
Then don't.
The Red Man reaction. Satisfaction.
Nothing could be better for cutting grass than the dependable Snapper high-vac lawn machine. But come fall, a Snapper doesn't get time off for good behavior because the high-vac does a job on leaves as well. Nor does the Snapper Rider hibernate for winter, thanks to a front-mounted 2-stage snow thrower. And come spring, the Thatcherizer means beautiful, revitalized lawns without lifting a rake.
Snapper's sensational spring savings are happening now.
Doug Sisk will be the new pitcher for the Mets, and Joe West just went out there and made Sisk take off some jewelry around the neck. That's what they did at Pascual Perez last year in a very important game against Los Angeles. Sisk, the right-handed half of the lefty-righty late inning duo with the Mets. The left-hander, of course, is Jesse Orozco, who last year was probably the best fireman in the National League. He won the award. Sisk this year is 1-1 with an ERA of under 1, 0.96. He's a good one. He throws a lot of breaking stuff and a very good sinker. Keeps the ball down low. So Sisk is on a pitch. Jerry Royster will lead off for the Braves. He was double switched along with Jeff Dedman in the bottom half of the inning. So Royster will lead off, and then Claudel Washington and Rafael Ramirez here in the top of the 7th. A run, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Braves. 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for New York. And the Braves' 4-game winning streak now in some jeopardy. Oh, we're all set to go in the top of the 7th, and to carry along the rest of the way, once again, here's Pete.
Thank you, John. Royster leading off the inning, batting in the 9 slot, batting 178 for the year. He has no homers, 3 runs driven in. Darling worked 6 innings, allowed a run, 5 hits, walked 4, struck out 4. And the first pitch on the way now to Royster. He takes a strike, 0-1. 0-2 the count. The 2-strike pitch is by him swinging, breaking ball. Royster out of there on 3 pitches. Sisk records his first strikeout.
In the 23rd inning now, as we see the strikeout again by Sisk, threw it past Royster. Floyd Bannister now pitching for the White Sox. Milwaukee has not scored, but they have 2 men on with 2 out. Well, a game like that can foul up your pitching for about a week.
Really can. The American League record for the longest game is 24 innings, so they're getting very close to that. Here's Claudell Washington, who has walked, singled, and grounded out. 1 ball, no strikes. That's in for a strike, 1-1. Sisk out of Tacoma, Washington. Played college baseball at Washington State. He's behind in the count now, 2-1. Braves down by 2. Are in the top half of the 7th. Three and 1 now on Washington. The 3-1 pitch has popped up foul territory. This one's going to keep on slicing and drop up into the seats out of play to fill the count of 3-2. Rafael Ramirez on deck. Just outside. First walk issued by Sisk, walk number 5 off of Mets pitching tonight. Now Rafael Ramirez, who has grounded out to first and singled twice. A little bit low, 1 ball, no strikes. Sisk is not missing by much. A couple of his pitches to Claudell Washington were very close to being strikes. Going to first is Sisk. Claudell, the Braves' leading base stealer, with 9. He's also drawn 2 more walks in this game. He leads the National League in that category. He has drawn a free pass 24 times this year. Again, Sisk going over. Three runs on 8 hits for New York, 1 run, 5 hits for Atlanta. We're in the top half of the 7th. And the 1-0 is just inside. 2-0. A little bit of a gamble taken by Dave Johnson. His pitcher, Ron Darling, was really settling, it looked like, into a pretty good ball game after kind of a rocky start. But he elected to pinch hit, go to his bullpen, which has been a very good bullpen for him all year. And the count on Ramirez goes down to 3-0. More activity. Brent Gaff just recalled from Tidewater a couple of days ago. They released Dick Tidrow to make room for Gaff. He's throwing now in the Mets bullpen. And the 3-0 pitch is taken inside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks to Washington, and Ramirez have the Braves in business here in the 7th. Two walks issued in the inning by Sisk. 6 in the game now off Mets pitching, and the batter is Gerald Perry, who was 0 for 3 in this game and hitless in his last 13 at-bats. He's due. He has grounded out to first, struck out, and grounded to third tonight. Batting with Ramirez and Washington on at first and second. 1 man out. And he takes the first pitch low, ball one. So Sisk really fighting it out there. Dale Murphy waiting on deck. Here's the 1-0. Over the mound, the shortstop Oquendo's only play will be on to first in time to get Perry. The runners move to second and third. So with 2 outs in the inning, Dale Murphy will step to the plate with runners in scoring position. See if they pitch to him here. They have a base open. They also have a left-hand hitter, Chris Chambliss, due up next. You very seldom will walk a man intentionally when he represents the potential go-ahead run. But Murph has had a hot bat of late. I think he will be pitched to, though. In tonight's game, he has walked, struck out, and fouled out. Don't forget the Mets have not yet seen Murphy's hot bat. He was not hitting when the Mets faced Atlanta in Atlanta, and he's 0 for 2 tonight. Fouled away at the plate, 0-1. All the clubs get up-to-date scouting reports on the opposition virtually every day. But they will also take into consideration what a player has done against you in his career. You saw the Mets bullpen gaff now joined by Jesse Orozco. High in the air to right center field. Darryl Strawberry draws a bead on it. And that's the inning. So Sisk a little wild here in the 7th, but got away with it. No runs or hits. Couple of walks, couple of men left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Score stays New York 3, Atlanta 1.
Sometimes you just gotta have 1, or 2, or 3, or 4. The thing about a crystal burger is you always want 1 more sometimes.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
Saturday on the TBS Great Western Theater.
We got a nice little community here, chock full of law and order. I wouldn't mix in things that don't concern you.
Ray Milland and McDonald Carey are deadly rivals for the riches at Copper Canyon. Then Dana Andrews is caught between 2 worlds as he tries to tame the West in Comanche.
We have more plans for you.
Great adventure, Saturday on Superstation WTBS.
Back to the Braves comeback in just a moment, but first there's more reaction to the Soviet boycott of the Olympics. Now Bulgaria has joined Russia and will not show up. That, of course, won't hurt. How many great Bulgarian basketball players are there? But it does show reaction continues to grow. We'll have that story plus the long, endless game between Chicago and Milwaukee. I'm Bob Kurtz. Join me, Marshall Adendorf, Don Miller for the TBS Evening News following the game.
Wally Backman leads off the bottom half of the 7th for New York. He'll be followed by Jose Oquendo and Keith Hernandez facing right-hander Jeff Dedman. New York on top 3-1 out in Chicago. Milwaukee failed to score in the top of the 23rd. They go to the bottom half still tied 6-6. Backman tonight 2 singles and 3 at-bats. Pitcher Jeff Dedman will handle this one. 1 pitch, 1 out. A little bit of a high throw. Chambliss stayed with it, though. 1 gone on the bottom of the 7th for Jose Oquendo.
Shortstop, Jose.
Oquendo nothing for 3. He's grounded to first, struck out, and bounced to third. Dedman delivers a ball inside. That evens the count, 1-1. Each club scored a run in the 2nd. Mets then took the lead with 1 in the 3rd. They added 1 in the 6th. We're now in the bottom half of inning 7. And the 1-1 is on the outside corner, 1-2. Off the end of the bat foul, still 1-2. Ron Hodges looks on from the Mets dugout. He's the lone survivor from a Tidewater club that I once worked for back in the mid-70s. Craig Swan was the other one, but he was released today. Here's the 1-2 pitch inside, 2-2. Now the 2-2 to Oquendo, line foul off to the right. The count remains 2-2. Same two clubs here tomorrow afternoon. Len Barker will face Walt Terrell and the Braves back home, facing three Pirate left-handers, Candelaria, McWilliams, and Tudor over the weekend. The 2-2 pitch is popped foul again out of play. And the count remains 2-2. Braves will have Craig McMurtry working against Candelaria Friday night. Pascual Perez against Larry McWilliams. They were traded for one another a couple of years ago. They'll face each other on Saturday night. And then Pete Falcone goes against John Tudor on Sunday. Into right field. That's a base hit for Oquendo. Washing it over quickly. He'll hold Oquendo to a single. That is the first hit allowed by Jeff Dedman. It's hit number 9 of the game for the Mets. And it brings up Keith Hernandez. Oquendo just going with that high outside fastball. Activity again in the Atlanta bullpen. Left-hander Terry Forster begins to loosen. Hernandez tonight is lined into a double play, single driving in a run, and fly to center. Down the left field line, that's a fair ball rolling toward the corner. The carom comes right back out to Perry. Oquendo will have to stop at third. Keith Hernandez coasts into second with a stand-up double. So the Mets are threatening again here with runners at second and third and only one man out, and George Foster, the scheduled hitter.
Another great job of hitting by Hernandez, who really uses the bat so well. Pitch was outside. He kind of held his hands back a bit and then just stroked the ball to left field for the double. Now the Mets are within a base hit of really opening up this game. They lead 3-1. Bob Gibson going out to talk to Dedman. Terry Forster is warming in the bullpen. And now the Braves have some different things to think about. Do you walk George Foster and then bring in Terry? There's Forster in the bullpen to pitch to the left-hander Strawberry with the bases loaded. Or do you let Dedman go after the right-hand hitter George Foster at the plate? So a couple of decisions have to be made by the Braves.
Mets now have 10 hits in the ball game. And we'll see what decision has been made here on George Foster, who was grounded out all 3 times up tonight, once to short and twice to third. The infield's going to play in for Atlanta, and they will pitch to Foster. Good stop by Benedict. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Foster trying to extend a 7-game hitting streak. And the 1-0 pitch on the way now from Dedman. Another good stop by Benedict. A couple of curveballs from Jeff Dedman have gotten away. The count 2-0.
Well, the first stop was good. The last stop was exceptional. Watch this play, and Dedman throws the ball very hard, and it's going straight down. Benedict shifts, gets the body out, and makes a great stop. And that glove is not terribly flexible or pliable. That was a heck of a play by Bruce to save a run.
2 balls, no strikes. There are your runners at second and third. Keith Hernandez and Jose Oquendo. Here's the 2-0. That caught the corner. Dedman has thrown Foster nothing but knuckle curves. Now the 2-1 delivery. Got the fastball by him. He challenged him with that fastball right up around shoulder level. It just kept riding in on George Foster. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Infield in, runners off second and third with 1 man out here in the bottom of the 7th. And the 2-2 pitch. Another great stop by Benedict. He has been all over the place. Trying to keep it from going by. The count full now, 3-2.
Look how quickly Benedict shifts.
So Bruce has been a lifesaver so far on this at-bat on Foster. And the payoff pitch. He struck him out. He chased that curveball that would have been ball 4. Foster chased the pitch that he had seen 3 previous times in this at-bat, but he went after this one, and he's a strikeout victim.
That's the second terrible pitch he swung at. He just couldn't stop himself from waving at a pitch that he couldn't have hit anyway. So the Braves really get a break as Foster waves a very poor pitch, and now they'll walk Darryl Strawberry intentionally and go after Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson is a switch hitter. He is, at least this year, a much better hitter left-handed than right-handed, so we'll see if the Braves make the switch and make Wilson turn around.
This will be the first walk issued by Jeff Dedman. It'll be the 4th walk in the game off Atlanta pitching. And it'll load him up for Mookie Wilson.
Phil Niekro's going to get another win tonight. Knucksy is out in front 10-1 now in the bottom of the 5th inning at Yankee Stadium. If Phil wins the game, and I think he has a heck of a chance, he'll be 5-1, and his only loss was a 1-0 shutout against the Yankees.
Now with 2 outs, here's Mookie, who has singled twice and flying to left, and it's nothing new for Mookie Wilson to be having a good day against Atlanta. He is now 6 for 12 against the Braves this year. He was hitting .317 for his career coming into this season against Atlanta pitching. Dedman got it by him, 0-1 the count. That knuckle curve that Dedman throws must really look like something else when it leaves his pitching hand, because you see a lot of hitters swing at that pitch when it's way out of the strike zone, but the bottom falls out of it just as it gets to the plate. Must be a very tough pitch to pick up. Some curveballs you can pick up very easily, some you can't. 1-1 the count. Oquendo is at third. Hernandez at second. Over at first, Darryl Strawberry. 2 men out, bottom half of the 7th inning. Mets leading at 3-1. And the 1-1 missed high, ball 2-1. Now the 2-1 delivery. That got the corner. 2-2 to count on Wilson. Dedman ready now for the 2-2 pitch. It's on the way. Bouncing ball hit toward short. Rafael Ramirez stumbled a little bit when he got to that ball, but stayed with it. And makes the play at second to force Strawberry and end the inning. So Dedman got himself into some trouble, but pitched his way out of it beautifully. No runs, 2 hits, 3 men left. We've played 7. Score remains New York 3, Atlanta 1.
Budweiser salutes the coaches and trainers of the 1984 U.S. Olympic team.
That'll be a nice job.
To the U.S. Olympic coaches and trainers, the team behind the team, this Bud's for you.
Eastern announces a major breakthrough in airline bonus programs. We've added TWA to our program, so we can land frequent travelers in cities we don't even fly to, in Europe and the Middle East, as well as to all the places we do fly to. And when you fly TWA, we credit your miles in our program. So enroll on your next Eastern flight. You'll never find a better time to join.
At Eastern, we earn our wings every day.
Now here's the Redman scoreboard, and Scott Sanderson pitched that shutout for Chicago with relief help from Rich Bordy. Cincinnati with the lead going to the bottom of the 8th in Montreal. Philadelphia continues to slide, being beaten by Houston tonight, and St. Louis over San Diego 2-0. They play the bottom of the 5th. Pittsburgh, San Francisco rained out. Phil Niekro is en route to his 5th win as the Yankees have that big lead. Baltimore won the first of 2, 7-4. Toronto leads the nightcap. That game is now through 23 innings, all tied at 6, Milwaukee and Chicago. And you see the rest of the American League.
Chris Chambliss will lead off the top half of the 8th for the Braves, followed by Glenn Hubbard, then a pinch hitter for Jeff Dedman. Terry Forster working in the Atlanta bullpen. Chambliss tonight has walked, rounded out to second, and struck out. He's trying to extend a 6-game hitting streak, facing Doug Sisk, who starts him off with a fastball high and away.
Remember now, the Braves will have pinch hitter coming up 3rd in this order. Chambliss, Hubbard, and then the pitcher spot where Dedman is.
Here's the 1-0. And that's over for a strike, 1-1. Braves down by 2. Well hit to left center field, slicing back toward Foster, diving Pry, he caught the ball. George Foster, who's not really known for his defense, and you very seldom see him leave his feet in the outfield, but he did that time, and he took a double away from Chris Chambliss.
Well, Chambliss hit that one right on the nose. Foster goes over, and he really makes a good catch. He lined it up, made a dive, and gloved it. Good play by Foster on the hard hit ball by Chambliss.
There was a time a few years ago when Foster said you'd never see him do that again.
Yes.
He said, I don't want to get hurt playing the outfield because my bat is more valuable to a team than my glove is.
I think he made those comments when he was in Cincinnati. He might have made them after that, but in Cincinnati he did say he would not run into the wall.
Or dive.
Which is probably smart thinking.
2-0 the count now on Hubbard, who has struck out, fly to right, grounded to short. Mike Jorgensen has moved to the on-deck circle. Count now 2-1. Sisk with a 2-1 pitch, hit foul over toward the Braves dugout. Braves are trying to win their 5th in a row. Mets are trying to end the 3-game losing streak. As you look at Jorgensen on deck. But right now, New York on top 3-1. There's a drive into left field. Base hit for Glenn Hubbard. Makes the catch by George Foster that much more important on the ball hit by Chambliss.
Boy, does it ever. Whether Chambliss would have scored or not is really kind of moot. At the worst, the Braves would have had 1st and 3rd and no one out for Joggy. So 2 hard hit line drives off Sisk to begin the 8th inning. 1 caught and 1 in for the base hit.
Mike Jorgensen has done a good job pinch hitting for the Braves this year. He has 2 game-winning RBIs coming off the bench. He's hitting .400, 4 for 10. All of his at-bats have been as a pinch hitter, and he's driven in 4 runs. We were talking after a game up in Montreal, after Jorgie's pinch hit 2-run single helped the Braves win a game. In fact, it proved to be the game-winning RBI. Asked him if it meant anything to him, if it meant a little more to him to get a hit like that against a team he used to play for. His answer was, well, I've played for so many teams, it's almost always the situation when I come to the plate. And it's the situation here again tonight. Here's the 0-1. Didn't get it, nothing in 2.
Not only did Jorgensen play for the Mets, but he was raised not very far from here. I think he comes from Flushing or Bayside, one of the areas right around Shea Stadium.
0-2, the count on Jorgensen with Hubbard at first, 1 down. Struck him out with a fastball. Sisk just overpowered Jorgensen in that at-bat. His second strikeout, out number 2 here in the 8th inning. Good movement to that fastball. Now Bruce Benedict, who is flying to left, hit into a 6-3 double play and grounded to short. Down the third base line, that is a fair ball. Long throw by Hubie Brooks in the dirt, dug out of there nicely by Keith Hernandez. Credit Hernandez with saving that play. The inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Score remains the New York Mets 3 and the Atlanta Braves 1.
.450 degrees. That's how hot parts of your car's engine can get, even in ordinary driving.
Watch how heat and stress can break apart your oil's protected molecules. That's motor oil breakdown. STP oil treatment's heat-activated molecules fight motor oil breakdown, fortifying your oil with extra lubricants and anti-wear agents.
Get extra protection. Fight motor oil breakdown with STP oil treatment. STP. Your car care company.
There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place.
Believe it or not, there's finally joy in Mudville. Introducing the 1984 Toyota Tercel.
There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face.
This front-wheel drive Tercel will get you where you're going with more room inside than any other subcompact. The new Toyota Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car.
And finally, there is joy in Mudville.
This bud's to everyone who tackles the changes and challenges of that new promotion.
This bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So this is you. For all you do.
Yep, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do. This bud's for you.
We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. There's the new pitcher for Atlanta, left-hander Terry Forster. He is making his 7th appearance of the season. He has no wins or losses, couple of saves, a 2.08 earned run average. He replaces Jeff Dedman, who worked an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 1. Forster will face the lower third of the order, Brooks, Fitzgerald, and Sisk. Or a pinch hitter, but no one's throwing in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Sisk will be the man.
Leading off, the bottom half of the 8th inning, for the Mets, third baseman, Jimmy Brooks.
Well, we have had a very unusual ball game. We've had a cameraman thrown out of a game by an umpire. We had a foul ball knock over a microphone on the radio side. But right now, the Mets in control, 3-1. Up the middle into center field, Brooks on to the leadoff single. He had walked his first 3 times up. So he has enjoyed a perfect night. That's hit number 1 off Forster, hit number 11 by New York. Now Mike Fitzgerald, who drove in a New York run with a sacrifice fly back in the second. Since then, he's flied to left and flied to center. Into shallow right center field. Let's see if Murphy can get to it. He does. Nice running catch by Murphy. Back to first goes Hubie Brooks. Doug Sisk will bat for himself. He's 1 for 4 as a hitter this year. Thought just occurred to me. Can you imagine what Don Drysdale's scorebook looks like about now?
You know what? I know what my scorebook would look like.
Whoa.
It would look worse than it normally does. 23 innings that go to the 24th, all tied at 6. I imagine Bob Uecker pretty funny on Milwaukee radio tonight.
Here's the pitch to Sisk. He's squaring, gets the bunt down. Pretty good one. Royster will field. He'll throw him out. Hubbard taking the throw. Down to second goes Brooks on the 5-4 sacrifice.
Your attention, please.
Now they tie the record. We're going to see the sacrifice again, and Royster makes the play. You say they're going to tie the record when they go 24? They are
the
going
American
24
League
now. American League record.
For the American League.
Now, the National League record was the one that was set a long time ago, right? In the 20s, I think? 26
Couture against Oshker, yeah.
Yes. That is something. We're going to see.
Ron Gardenhire's got a bat. He'll pinch hit for Wally Beckman.
Oh, with the left-hander Forster on. There's one of the reserve infielders for the Mets, Ron Gardenhire.
Gardenhire on the air at 203 with no homers, 3 RBIs. Only been used as a pinch hitter once this year, and he's 0 for 1.
Obviously, Beckman is a much better lefty hitter than righty hitter. He's a switch hitter, but they're going to take him out for Gardenhire.
One ball, no strikes. Bottom half of the 8th, Mets on top, 3-1. Two men out. Hubie Brooks down at second. Just missed 2-0.
You know, Milwaukee and Chicago are going to play their regularly scheduled game after this game. If they ever complete it, they might have 2 suspended games in a row.
Very possible. They have a 1 o'clock curfew in the American League. That'll be out of play. The count is 2-1.
I did Greg Nettles beat on a leadoff man last week when the Padres were in Atlanta. And he said there really isn't any difference between the leagues except one that he's noticed. And it's a very surprising difference. He says the National League games are played quicker, faster than the American League games.
That is an unusual thing to bring up.
Never
Never heard that before. Yeah. Here's the 2-1. Missed blow, 3-1. On deck is Jose Oquendo. Forster's 3-1 is hit high in the air to right center field. Murphy over, so is Claudel. It'll be Washington making the catch to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Braves have 1 more crack at Doug Sisk. We go to the 9th. It's New York 3, Atlanta 1.
No one is permitted on the field at the end of the game. Please move by the nearest exit.
Ford Escort. Just 3 years ago, we introduced it as the car engineered to take on the world. And has it ever? Our little engineering marvel far outsold every import car line in America its first year. Ditto the second year. And in its 3rd year, Escort went on to become the best-selling car in the world, making Ford Escort a world leader at the very tender age of 3. Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
At Life of Georgia, we composed our first life insurance policy in 1891. And ever since, we've kept up with changing lifestyles, changing needs, programming up-to-date policies, like our high-interest incentive life plan for families like yours. And all for the same sound reason. because you love them. Life of Georgia.
Because the sun can be murder on your car, use STP, Son of a Gun Protector, for long-lasting sunscreen protection. It gives you a beautiful shine and more. Used regularly, STP's exclusive formula, activated by the sun itself, gives long-lasting protection against harmful ultraviolet rays. For vinyl, rubber, plastic, the STP shine means protection. Get STP, Son of a Gun Protector.
Ron Gardenhire into the game at second base for New York. Jerry Royster leads it off against Sisk and takes a strike. Royster, in his only at-bat in this game, struck out. Braves trail by 2. The 0-1. Missed low and away, 1-1. Into left field, base hit for Royster, so a good start to the Atlanta ninth inning. Hit number 2 on Sisk, hit number 7 in the game for Atlanta. Jesse Orozco working now in the Mets bullpen.
Right fielder, Washington.
We go to the top of the order. Claudell Washington. There's Jesse. Claudell tonight, a single, a ground out, and 2 walks. His average for the year now up to .346. Oh, and 1 the count. Royster off first. The look over by Sisk. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1. Way outside, 2-1. There's the runner at first, Royster, and the pitch to Claudell is just outside the count, 3-1. One more bad one. The Braves will have the potential tying runners on base with nobody out. Here's the 3-1 delivery. That'll be out of play. Count full, 3-2. Well, now a decision for Joe Torre. Nobody out in the inning. Royster runs fairly well at first. Do you send him or not on this 3-2 pitch? Down by 2 runs. He is not going, and the pitch is fouled away. Still 3-2. He walked him. Claudell Washington draws his 3rd walk of this game. And there are now runners at first and second with nobody out in the top half of the 9th inning.
Shortstop.
And the Braves moving down toward the heart of their order. Rafael Ramirez will be the batter. He has singled twice, grounded out, and walked.
Well, Pete, we'll see if the tone of this game can be changed. The tone was set in the first inning when Darling walked 3 men and was not scored on. The Braves have 7 hits. They've been given 7 walks. Well, they've had 14 men on base and only scored 1 run tonight. Braves need a hit with men on base, and they've got the big guys coming up.
Nobody out here in the 9th inning. Ramirez is squaring and takes the pitch high, ball 1.
One thing about Sisk, excuse me, Pete, he had walked 12 men in 18 innings coming into this game, so control difficulties, not very unusual for Doug, and he has a great ERA. Now Davey Johnson does come out of the Mets dugout.
He's got his ace, Jesse Orozco, ready in the Mets bullpen, and he's going to go to him. He will make the change right here with a count of 1 ball, no strikes on Rafael Ramirez. So Sisk will leave after working 2 innings. He faces 2 batters here in the 9th. He has given up 2 hits. He has walked 2. And he has struck out 2. He has not allowed any runs yet, but the runners at first and second belong to him. And coming in out of the Mets bullpen, left-hander Jesse Orozco, who is indeed their ace. He has 2 wins and 5 saves this year. He'll be facing Ramirez with a count of 1 ball, no strikes. And while he comes in out of the Mets pen, we'll take time out for these words.
And heads for turn 3. 2 cars in trouble. A spin. Richard is boxed in with nowhere to go. Oh, Penny gets hit hard.
Now that was a headache. That was a Goodies headache. You got that right. You know, I've been using Goodies headache powders for years. For one simple reason. Goodies gets rid of the pain fast. So the next time you run into a headache, or one runs into you, get yourself a Goodies. They sure work for me.
When you have a dream, unreachable as it may seem, impossible dreams become reality when you strive to become the best you can be. Cookies is the biggest taste you've ever found. Cookies is the one that never lets you down. Cookies is.
Every night, CNN's the one to turn to for a complete half hour filled with sports news, interviews, and game highlights. Watch Sports Tonight at its new time, 11:30 Eastern, only on CNN.
Jesse Orozco, the new pitcher for the New York Mets. He is making his 9th appearance of the year, a record of 2-1 with 5 saves, a 2.77 earned run average, averaging better than a strikeout per inning. He has an excellent fastball, good breaking ball. And at the relatively young age of just 27, he has become a top relief pitcher in the major leagues.
And now they go out and ask Jesse Orozco to take off the chain that he has around his neck. Joe West is denuding the Mets relief pitchers of their jewelry. Joe Torre has quite a decision to make now. 1 ball, no strikes on Ramirez. The tying runs are on base. He has Gerald Perry or Bob Watson to pinch hit, or Terry Harper, right-hand hitters, in other words, to pinch hit for the left-hand hitters who are coming up. Do you have Ramirez bunt him over, or do you have him swing away? Remember the count 1-0, and Orozco has to come across. There's Cowboy Joe West. And if you bunt him over, do you have a Watson come up with the knowledge that you really can't walk Watson with Dale Murphy behind him? So a lot of questions Joe Torre has running around in his mind as he thinks about it, whether to let Ramirez hit away. The rule of thumb is when you play at home, you can play to tie. When you're on the road, you play to win. And we'll see what he does.
He had Rafael bunting on the first pitch from Doug Sisk. Well, let's see if that changes here with Orozco into the game. Orozco lifetime against Atlanta. This is interesting. Against the Braves lifetime, 0-3, no saves, and a 4.41 earned run average. So the Braves are one team against whom Orozco has not done the job more times than not when he's come into the game. Right to the third baseman. This should be 2. Gardenhire at second, on to first. Double play. So on just 1 pitch, Jesse Orozco has somewhat diffused the scoring threat.
I think it was a good gamble by Torre. I was about to mention that they were playing bunt, and the shortstop, Okendo, was shadowing second base to try to make the play. Brooks was playing right at the corner of the bag. That was Gardenhire, who completed a very tough double play. And Rafael Ramirez had the entire left side of the infield to shoot at, and he hit the ball very hard, but right at Brooks. If he hit it a little bit over, that would have been an easy base hit, and the Braves would have been in business, but that's why they say that baseball is a game of inches. I like the gamble that Torre made. just didn't work out.
Now Bob Watson will bat for Gerald Perry. Watson on the year at 111. He is 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. He does not yet have an extra base hit this year. He has driven in 1 run. He bats with Royster at third and 2 men out. Orozco delivers. It's fouled back. So instead of having the tying runs on base, Watson now represents the potential tying run at the plate with 2 down. Orozco ahead in the count, 0-2. And the crowd here at Shea on their feet now, hoping to close out this game right here. The 0-2 pitch to Watson. Into center field, Mookie Wilson coming hard. He will make the catch to end the ball game, and Jesse Orozco does the job again for the New York Mets. The Braves fail to score in the top of the 9th. Our final score, the New York Mets 3 and the Atlanta Braves 1. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.